Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company at Dubai Watch Week 2023. We're at MB&F. I'm here with Arnaud. We're talking about the new HM11 Architect, the first architecturally inspired horological machine. Arnaud, tell us a little bit about where this design comes from, the genesis of it.
Okay, so it's coming from the architecture of the 60s and 70s. When man wanted to go to the moon, but we didn't go there yet. And there were all those different houses, so you can shoot in a minute, but that were built all around the world, in the US, in France, in Europe, wherever. And there was one house in particular, which is this one up there, made of different pods. And all those pods together were making actually a house. And one day Max discovered this house. Actually on Instagram he found this picture, so sometimes you have good surprises on Instagram. And he asked the question, as always with MB&F, wouldn't it be cool if we would construct a house, a watch like a house, right? And so this watch is basically like a tiny house with 4 different rooms. Each room has a different indication. So over here you have the hours and minutes. Up, thank you. So hours and minutes. If you look here, you have the power reserve indicator. If you look here, because it's a house, you have a thermometer. And the last room is the first ever full sapphire crown. So this crown is here up just to set the time.
Yes.
But not to wind the movement, because to wind the movement, as you just did before, you actually rotate the entire case.
And so it's got a flying tourbillon on the top, manufacturer caliber. You said this was your 21st manufacturer caliber.
Exactly. Some of them, the first one at MB&F, because the company was very small, they were based on different movements, so sometimes on a GP movement, but the LM101, which I'm wearing now, is the first completely in-house caliber. And so this one is developed completely in-house as well. But then, for example, the sequential Evo and the perpetual calendar were developed by Stephen McDonnell, who is kind of in-house, but still based in Belfast. So, yeah.
It's okay. It's always been a collaborative effort. Max and his friends, after all.
Exactly.
Now, the watch has a 72-hour power reserve, which seems like a lot, given that it's not an enormous watch. It's a 42-millimeter timepiece.
Absolutely. So it's a titanium case, 42 millimeter, and as you mentioned, it's pretty impressive to be able to have all those complications, the flying tourbillon, all those three-dimensional indexes, all that in a 42 millimeter case. So we are pretty happy with the wearability of the piece.
Definitely give us a wrist shot there.
Exactly. So you can see that it's actually almost the same size as my LM101. It's actually smaller than the legacy machine Evo. So most of them are 44 millimeter. This one is 42. So yeah, pretty easy to wear. Driver's watch, so you read the time laterally on the sides. And yeah, that's HM11.
And I think we got some of Eric Giroux's designs right here. This is sort of where the design came from. You could see the inspirations before. Now you can see some of the designs as they were drawn out by the hand of a longtime collaborator of MB&F, Eric Giroux, designing many machines over the years.
Exactly. So you can see the difference between Max's first sketch here in 2018. So that really shows that every single watch at MB&F takes about 5 years to develop. So those sketches are not so good, and then we work as always with Eric Giroux, who is one of the very good friends of MB&F since day one, who is always working on all the designs. And here you have another inspiration for the watch, which is this ball clock that actually was used here inside for the dial. Because in architecture you want to have a good use of the space, you want to have three-dimensionality. This ball clock was just the perfect inspiration for the dial here.
And so there's going to be a very limited run, I think 25 and 25 to start out with.
Exactly.
25 with a blue crown, 25 with a rose gold crown.
Exactly, so it's basically the finishing on the dial which is different, so either with the blue CVD coating or red gold coating on the other one. 25 pieces of each, as you just said.
Now you can see the underside of this. It is designed to be very ergonomic. It's curved, it's canted, it's got a camber that matches the shape of a wrist. So in addition to being very light, mostly of sapphire and titanium, it does have a really nice shape to sit on the wrist. Don't be deceived by the photos. The watch is really quite compact, and that's part of the pleasure of owning it. It's a remarkably tight package with flying tourbillon, 3 days of power reserve, 3 separate...
4 days.
4 days is
4 days, 96 hours, yes.
Even better. And then you can see that we've got a power reserve indicator on one side along with the temperature and the time. And so this is also a very complicated watch, sort of a 4-axis watch with one axis being the winding. A really cool piece. This is the new HM11 Architect from MB&F at Dubai Watch Week 2023. Arnaud, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thanks a lot.